Hey, it's Jessie. Welcome to Time 414. I feel like I should apologize, but I don't want these videos to all be apologizing. So last week, we were working on changing the schedule, and this week I was supposed to do a video Wednesday and Friday. Um, Today is now Friday. But right now, as you'll notice a different background, I'm at an Airbnb in just outside of Greensboro, North Carolina. And Wednesday, I was trying to get everything ready because yesterday, Thursday, we were on the road for what was supposed to be a little over a 10-hour drive, but ended up being more like 12 with traffic and everything. So, yeah, I got off again. The goal here, and that I will eventually hit, is to have these videos done up ahead of time so I can just post them whenever with our posting schedule and there will be no problems. But I'm not there yet. So I apologize again, and sorry for all the apologies. I will get this right. It will just take time. Okay, so I feel bad that I've left some of your questions out. So we're going to tackle this one, and I'm going to try to make it quick because I'm competing tomorrow in a World's Ninja competition that I'm not ready for, by the way. It's been 6 weeks today, 6 weeks since my gallbladder was taken out, 3 weeks, at 3 weeks from the surgery, so 3 weeks back from now. I kind of tore something in there and had some bile going into my stomach cavity. Sounds gross. I'm sorry. Plug your ears. I'm sorry if that grossed anybody out. That's what happened. So kind of set me back. So I've only been exercising again and stuff for about the past week, but I qualified for Worlds, so I'm going. Which it's funny because that's, you know what, I'm going to take this in a different direction. That's actually what we're going to talk about today. Expectations on kids. So my son is competing, and he asked me today before we went in. His first round of stuff was today. Mine is tomorrow, 8 a.m. And he asked, what, I forget how he said it, but something like, what do I expect from him today? And I was like, I don't know. What are your goals? Like, we're here to have fun. The American Ninja Warrior show is very, very cool. I have no plans on going there. He doesn't have plans on going there. We made it in the WNL, the World Ninja League competition, Worlds competition. That's pretty good today. So, like, we're here. There's a lot of people here. There's people here from other countries. It was actually really neat. Today I sat behind a whole family that flew in from, I'm not sure where. I don't know what their language was. They were so supportive. They were so supportive, so supportive. And it didn't matter, like they weren't just cheering when their athlete like did all the good things. They cheered when he was struggling and they yelled encouragement, and it was great. This whole ninja thing, with both of my sons have done it now in different capacities, and the environment in it is so supportive. All these parents are really caring, the other coaches all really caring and cheering each other on. And when I first went with this gym, so we've been as a family in 2 different gyms, and when I first went with this gym, the family running the gym had more experience and interaction with things with their kids, and she was telling me how great it was and how all the parents were so great. And I was kind of like, yeah, I've heard that with other things, and it's like, yeah, they're great if you bring all the snacks and cook everybody dinner and clean their houses. And not really, but that's what it feels like sometimes with some of these things. No, they just really care. It's been great. But anyway, it seems to be league-wise. That was my point, because these people that are coming to the World's competition from other countries are just so supportive. And anyway, so back into the Airbnb before we left, and he asked what my expectations were, and I said, whatever goal you set for yourself. And he said his was to not embarrass himself. Well, that's a good goal. I said, but even if you do, there's other people there that have done the same thing. So last year at a competition, he fell on the first obstacle and he was so embarrassed. And I told him, I was like, other people here have fallen on the first obstacle too. There's other people here that wouldn't even get up and go on the first obstacle. Like, you're way ahead. He didn't feel that way. And I get the difference between the knowledge and the feeling. So he did good today. He was proud of himself. He goes tomorrow at a different, they break them up differently. Today was like skills and endurance, and then tomorrow is like what you would see on American Ninja Warrior, where you just go. And that's what he's doing tomorrow. That's what I'm doing tomorrow in my age group, women over 40. Yeah, I've already hit my goal. I'm here and I'm competing. Really, my goal is to make it through the first obstacle on the run, because I haven't been training. I haven't physically been able to, and I'm not going to push myself so hard I hurt myself. I'm pretty much healed. I don't think I can hurt myself again, but yeah, my goal is to be here and just do it. So I told them, let's set some good expectations. And man, I miss that in sports and with teenagers. You hear things, you know, you hear people say that, and you hear parents talk that way, that, you know, sportsmanship and enjoying the game, and then you get out there in a sport and that's not how they act, and that's not what they're yelling from the stands, and that's not what they're saying to their kid when they get off the field. And I wasn't super pushing my kids into sports. There were several sports I discouraged because I saw how it was ran. And I remember telling one of my kids specifically, I said, look, it was basketball. And it was like, you love basketball. You love when we just go out and play. And if you go do, I think they were looking at a traveling team. It's like, it's not going to be what you want. And you're not going to like basketball at the end of this. Like, you can enjoy something and just go do it. You don't have to go pro. You don't have to do, you know, you don't even have to do the team with the school, and you don't have to do the travel team, and you don't have to do the summer camps, and you can just enjoy doing it. And it was like a switch turned on, because all the kids at school, that's not what they did. They played on the school team, and they did the summer camps, and there's nothing wrong with those things if that's what your kid wants to do. But what is their goal? And a lot of times in sports, and I saw this with all four of mine from a very young age, what their goal is gets lost. They get told what their goal is. And they start to believe it because they hear that, and they're like, well, if you want to play, we'll go with basketball. If you want to play basketball, this is your goal. And so they're like, oh, okay, well, I do want to play basketball, so that must be my goal. And they lose some of the, actually, was it theirs? How much do they love it? Do they really want to do all this? You know, and it's well intentioned, so I don't want to beat up on it too much, but the conversation this morning really brought that to life. You know, what do I expect of him? Nothing. I expect that he goes out there and tries. So I guess that's something. What place he gets, how he competes with others, I don't care. I want him to go have fun. We're here. We made it to Worlds. Like, that's an accomplishment, and that's good. And other than that, it's whatever he sets for himself. And I'm good with that. And he's good with that. And he was good with what happened today, and will be good with what happened tomorrow. So I'll have other in the video series about sports. So kind of take this as an overall, just the beginning. You know, I think we've lost sometimes that you can just enjoy doing something and just enjoy doing it in your backyard or at the park or hanging out with friends. I know there was one of my kids that I pushed a little more than the others whenever they showed interest in something. And it was just because I wanted them to find a hobby. I wanted them to find something that they could go enjoy doing besides like television or video games. And so with that one, I did push a little, but it wasn't always sports. It was like, they liked the piano. Well, let's get some piano lessons. Because I happen to know the lady that was actually the librarian for years at the elementary school taught piano. And she's a lovely lady. She was a clown on the side. And I'm like, well, let's go with her and you can learn the piano. And she went for a while. And you could tell when it was more, she was going to hang out with the teacher than it was a love of piano. But even that I was okay with, because I don't want to call people a hobby, but you know, I was looking for something that pulled at her heart and caught her interest, and spending time with people is her thing. And it took me as a parent a while to see it, because you look at it as being an activity. You know, they should go do something. She is a people person. She has a heart for people, and that is her. Not the pianist, not the soccer player, not the basketball player. She did like cheerleading. But even then it was the people, and that's okay. So as you're parenting, as you're watching your kid try these things, make sure and take a minute to ask them what they want. And if you've been their biggest fan, their biggest supporter, just know that that question might not get a true answer the first time. Tell them to go off and think about it. Ask them what they really enjoy. with what they're doing? What's the best part? Well, if they could get rid of something, what would it be? What do they see themselves continuing in 2 years, 5 years? And go from there. And then you can kind of see maybe what's been, pinging around deep inside of them when they're not so focused on everything they're supposed to be doing. All right, we will talk to you again soon, at least once next week, hopefully twice, but I don't know. We're coming back to Michigan on Wednesday, so I make no promises, but I will do my best, and I will get at least one out to you next week. All right, bye.